Nations with Al McFarlane, broadcasting live from the Minneapolis Urban League on Plymouth Avenue in North Minneapolis. Glad to be here, glad to be in the community again, and glad to have you here. We invite you, dear listeners, to show up every Tuesday morning for the next several weeks through the month of March. We will be doing the broadcast live here. And what we want to do is have a place where you can talk. So one of the things we'll do at the end of this show today, for the last 3 minutes, is have an open mic and ask people who are here to take maybe 30 seconds or so to come up and say what's on their mind. And the idea, again, is communication. The first part of the program I want to conclude in a couple of seconds here. We'll do some more music, Wayne, after that, just a briefer transition, then bring up the next panel, and the next panel is going to talk about politics. That's the second theme today. Before we do that, let me turn back to Dana Munson, who is with the Jungle Theater. And Dana, so you're saying the challenge that you've experienced is the challenge of being an African-American, one of the few in a management or administrative role in a major arts institution. And I want you to talk about why that's a challenge, what it means. And I'm asking that our guests who are remote to observe and respond or to comment in a way that both advises and directs and challenges us to be effective in what we do. But Dana, what is the challenge?
I think that the biggest challenge is probably cultural, in the fact that, you know, I come from a different background than most of my coworkers, and so it's meeting the challenges of trying to get my point across. That
and by that you mean that you're a black man?
Correct. And that I just have different viewpoints than most of my coworkers and colleagues. You know, I had the opportunity this year to be invited to the National Performing Arts Convention in Denver with a group of selected young people from around the country, and it was for young black leaders in America in the arts. And so we got the chance to actually speak up and talk about these type of issues that do come up, because I mean it's down to the fact of programming at the Jungle. I mean, you know, at the Jungle Theater, one of the major arts institutions here, and they don't do a lot of diversity on their stage, and so it's been that battle of saying how can we get more of that here in the organization on stage, and also reflect it on every level moving forward.
One of the lessons, I think, from Barbara Seals Nevergold and Peggy Brooks Bertram is that we have to take the technology and add it to our initiative and to create our own picture of the world. Is that true? Let me ask you, you all talked about how you've been able to harness technology to create relationships globally. What's the lesson in that, and how do we assure that we put our energy into the technological future?
Well, I think that Peggy and I have done over the course of this last 10 years, we're saying that, in a sense, that we have reinvented ourselves. And basically what that means is that when we've come across a stumbling block, or when it seems that we're in a trough and it's difficult to get out, we've found ways to use the creativity that we've come up with to get around that stumbling block and to, you know, re-energize ourselves through finding another avenue. Certainly the technology is a major part of it, because we have the website, but now we're also using a blog, we're using a Facebook, we're using the technology here of being able to meet with you via this remote connection. And we'll be using that in terms of webinars and in terms of other ways that we want to talk about this book with the contributors who are all over the world.
And I think one of the things that we found, and this again gets back to what do we want to do as a people with one another as a people? And that is the realization that you don't know anything about anybody unless you spend some time with them. And you can't just look at people and decide that that's somebody that you're just not going to deal with. You can't get carried away by all your degrees and accolades and things of that nature, because there are people who walk so quietly among you in a community that have skills that you have no concept about. I mean, there are people in communities who are dead-on writers and poets, and when you look at them and you see them out, you may never think about that. But this project has taught me very clearly, and I know Barbara agrees, that you don't know anything about anybody until you get involved with them. And then these wonderful little juicy morsels start spilling out. I mean, look at a lady that's been a babysitter for 40 years, and no one's ever seen her go to a movie or do anything. But if you went to her closet, she had 40 years worth of journals where she had written every single day something about her life in a journal. And that if no one had explored them, and no one had talked to her, and no one had valued her, they would have been lost. She would pass away, her family would say, oh my God, what are we going to do with all this junk? They call the people from the garbage to come and pick it up. And we would never know what this woman had thought about the world, how she saw her. And so if we never...
Okay, great.
...in the community story to tell.
Wonderful. And so back to you, Dana, then. And so how do you, with that kind of idea, there's a resistance where people are willing to dismiss our story, our point of view, our sensibility. How do you still navigate with confidence and make things happen?
I think what I do is I just hang around. You can't get rid of me. I'm like so I think by hanging around and staying in the fight, I think that's how I'm going to make the change. You know, I started my career after college at the National Theater for Children, which is an educational touring company, and I was able to make some strides there as far as getting some more diversity and color up on their staff and also in their casting process. And as I continue to move forward, I will continue to strive to do that sort of thing. You know, I'm currently finishing up my dissertation at Concordia, and it's all about the barriers that exist between African Americans and the arts and how we break those down. And when I talk about participation, I'm talking about participation on every level, not just come in and see the show, but also, you know, if you want to do some arts and crafts in your own place, that to me is participating in the arts on some level. And so it's continuing to cultivate that and making sure that people know that participating doesn't just mean buying a ticket and sitting down in a seat to see something. It can be a lot of different things.
Tell people what's going on right now at Jungle Theater and make the invitation.
Okay, right now our show is called Hitchcock Blonde. It's all about Hitchcock and his obsession with blondes in the 1950s. I invite you guys to come down to the Lynn Lake area and check it out. Definitely hit me up at jungletheater.com, and if you do, I'll give you a free ticket, especially if you've never been there before. I'm putting that out there. I'm putting it out there right now. A free ticket for anybody that hits me up on the website and says, I saw you, I heard you on 90.3 on the McFarlane Show, and I want my free ticket, and I got it with your name all over it.
There we go. There we go. All right, thank you, Dana Munson. Also, then, author Danina Ulmer. How do people get your book? You told us before. Tell us again.
Yes, it's on Amazon.com, and if they live here in the Twin Cities, I can deliver it to them because they're in my trunk.
And you will find the book. Great. And to our guests.
Can we say a note about that? I must tell you that when we first started out with books, we self-published 4 books ourselves. So we know how you need to have a purse big enough to carry your books in, and if it's not in the trunk of your car, in your purse, it's in the trunk of your car. We carry books in little wheelies that we roll behind us, but that's after we carried them in our arms for years. So we understand that this investment that you're making in yourself. Right. Stay strong. Stay strong.
Thank you both for joining us as well. That's authors, editors, compilers, Barbara A. Steele Nevergold and her colleague, Peggy Brooks Bertram, the organizers of the phenomenal book, Go Tell Michelle, African American Women Write to the New First Lady. Their book is available in bookstores everywhere. And they've got, what's your website? People can connect with you on your website. What is it?
Our website is www.uncrownedcolor.com.